So, to all of my entrepreneurial friends who have done extremely well and have made a lot of money, maybe you can relate to what I'm going to share with you today, but I'm going to open up and be very, very transparent with how I have dealt with an underlying feeling. Now, it's not necessarily guilt, but it's a feeling of am I doing all that I can and should do because I enjoy making money and for all that it gives me as far as options and providing for my family. And frankly, in the direction of being a good person, my aim has been I want to be a blessing to others. To whom much is given, much is expected. You've probably heard that before. And so I feel like I've been generous in some ways, maybe not as generous as I can be, but I read a book called Die with Zero about a year ago, and I decided to do more with my money sooner in life so I can watch the good that it does for many years to come. But there was a guest pastor that came in from Alabama to our church here in Virginia today. And he was speaking to businessmen and women, to the entrepreneurs in the church, in a way that a pastor really can't speak to, because a pastor is not typically an entrepreneur. They gave their life to God and to the church, and so sometimes when a pastor is speaking, I don't really hear his perspective the same way as I did this morning with this guest pastor. He had achieved a magnitude of success in the business world. He became a multi-millionaire. And then several years ago, he turned his life towards helping with building churches down in Alabama and now across the country. And he shared some perspective today. So if you have made a lot of money and you've struggled with what I have struggled with, which is, am I putting money first? Am I able to find a way to be congruent and actually be close to God and to be living inside of my faith and walking the walk? I think this message might help you. He said today, his name is Pastor Lee, and I'm going to put the link after I'm done this. I'm going to put it in the chat so you can actually watch his talk today. I hope that you will spend the time to watch it. Just start at minute 36 when you go to the replay. But he said, you're being called to use what God has gifted you with for his kingdom, which is just as important as what your head pastor has been called to do. So again, if you're a religious person, you might think you're not doing as much for the church as the pastor or as somebody who's really involved in the church as you might think. And here's the thing. Again, let me repeat that. He said, you entrepreneurs, you're being called to use what God has gifted you with for his kingdom. And it's just as important as what the head pastor is doing with his life. I had dinner with this guest pastor last night. 6 of us went to dinner, and I was very honored to be invited to that dinner. And he said something very similar last night, because I share with him my background, about my business, about my successes, and so forth. And he said that God needs you to use your skills and gifts that he has given you and that you have developed in the business community to spread his kingdom within the business community. Because frankly, the business community is needed for the local church to be able to fund and help it to operate. And a pastor who is not out there in the business world, is not out there making money, who's not out there with connections with other businessmen and women, they're both needed. And so I feel like my calling is business and making money. And it can be used to further grow and spread God's kingdom. And he said, your lane has your passion, your purpose, your provision, your protection, and your pace. My lane, my friends that are entrepreneurs, your lane. And he said, one thing that we're called to do is give your life away for all of what you have learned and what you have lived. Give it away. He said, get your wisdom from your upstream, as we know, our upline, if you will. Get your wisdom from your upstream and get your fulfillment from your downstream. We all gain from our upline, our mentors, our leaders, but we gain the wisdom from them so that we can go do our thing and become, and then we get our fulfillment as leaders by giving away the life that we have learned and lived, giving that wisdom to others. He also said dynasties are selfish. Legacies are selfless. Are you building a dynasty, which is all about you? Because he said when you're focused on dynasty, others get hurt and there's carnage. But if you're focused on legacy, what can you build and leave behind? How can you impact the world, helping, serving others, and helping to serve his kingdom, help to further grow and expand his kingdom? That is a legacy that goes beyond your lifetime. And he also talked about being driven versus being led. Are you a driven person? I've always felt like I've got drive, I'm driven. But what I learned from him is it's about being led by a vision, by God's vision, by the vision of Jesus, why he sent his son here to earth to be able to put his kingdom here on earth, and being led by that. I had a mentor, Paul J. Meyer. I don't know if you all know who Paul J. Meyer is. Please go Google him. Read his book, Family, Faith, and Finance. I would encourage you to think about this. I believe, because I heard this from Paul Meyer, I heard this from the pastor, that I'm blessed with the ability to go make money, as many of you are. But if we are not being led by a vision that is of God, if we are being led by a vision that's just of us, our dynasty, like I want that Ferrari, I want that house, I want to be able to have all this money, I want to have all this power, then that is not going to be, you're being driven, you're not being led. Something else that he said is that he focuses on third generation of faith rather than third generation of wealth. Because wealth will destroy. Wealth will destroy. Have you ever seen kids or grandkids inherit a bunch of wealth and it made them worse instead of made them better? You see that all the time. These trust fund babies, they get all this money that they didn't earn. It's passed down through generations. And that strength that the original person that created the wealth, they became strong, which created the wealth. But as they passed down the wealth, the next generation got weaker, and the next generation got even weaker. And what Pastor Lee was talking about was he focuses on 3 generations of faith. If you focus on building faith stronger, not just on wealth, but you focus on building 3 generations of strong faith. If your kids and grandkids are, you're planting the right seeds inside of them, which I would say, how do you do that? Well, make God every part of your life. Go to church. Get your kids going to church. Get them to believe in God and to walk with Jesus. And so, Pastor talked about EROI. See, he talked about how businessmen and women don't necessarily hear what a pastor says, and I can't completely understand it from sometimes. It's almost like you got, there's different Chinese languages, and the pastor's speaking Cantonese, and the other one's Mandarin, and it's the same, but it's different. And so, a businessman like myself, when I heard in the last few weeks the pastor talking about money, I was leaning forward. I was all ears. I was so in tune with the message, and it really captured my attention. I understood what they were talking about with regards to money and how to help contribute toward the cause of the church and the missions and all the things that they're doing. But what a businessman like myself needed to hear is about what Pastor Lee said today, EROI, not just return on investment, but eternal return on investment. Business leaders need to see the wins. They need to see the results. If you want people to tithe more, you want people to give more. Somebody who, like me, who's in business, I am used to investing money, and I need to see the return on investment. If I invest $1,000, did I get back $3? Or did it lose money? And so in order to appeal to a business person like me, I need to see a return on investment. Well, he talked about today about the EROI, the eternal return on investment. If I can give my money to this cause and to this vision, to expanding the kingdom beyond my lifetime. See, if I give to a cause or whatever else here on earth, when I die, it doesn't go with me. But what I do with my money for good of expansion of the kingdom and giving the money that I earned with the skills that God gave me back to God, that reward goes with me into eternity. Now, what I'm sharing right now may or may not be for you. If you're not a Christian, you might say, well, Brian, this is probably the worst message I've ever seen you deliver. And for that, I'm not sorry about that. It just may not apply to you. Okay, so you can certainly scroll on and look for something else that resonates with you. But if you are a Christian and maybe you've struggled with, hey, am I spending my time focusing on the wrong things? Is making money not a good thing? This good pastor told me last night and today that God gave me these gifts for a reason. And he wants me to be really, really good at using these gifts and go out and make a whole lot of money because the church needs money. Here on earth, the church needs money to help families that are struggling, to help the church stay open and function, to be able to send people on mission trips, to be able to buy things for the needy. The church needs money. So the church needs people like you and me to go out there and make the money because we're good at it. But we need to not just sit on it and use it ourselves. We need to give it back to God. And that's why when you see in the video, I'm going to post the replay that I hope you go and watch and listen to him. He was brilliant. He was so good, so good. You're going to see something that I recently did. I'm a big believer in public displays of generosity. How do you get others to be generous? How do you stimulate and encourage others to go be giving? Give out loud, give publicly. You don't be anonymous. Let people see your example so that they want to copy you. So you'll see what I stepped up and did on December 11th, 2 Sundays from now, when I said to the pastor of my church a month ago or 3 weeks ago, I will match every dollar that anybody in the congregation gives as a tithe or donation on that one Sunday, up to $500,000. That's what I decided to do because that's what in prayer that was put on my heart. I decided that's what I was being led to do. I wasn't driven to do it. I was being led by the Spirit to do that. And so I just want to encourage you. It's not the dollar amount, by the way. That's not the point. But pray about it and think to yourself, if God gave you the gift that he didn't give to everybody, if God gave you the entrepreneurial spirit and gave you the gift and the ability to go out there and make a lot of money while you are young and while you are here on earth, it's not about buying your way into heaven. That's not what I'm doing. But go use that gift to make the money to help expand his kingdom. Because there are other families, there are other individuals out there who need the church, who need a relationship with God and Jesus, and who need earthly support, financial support right now. So I'll just wrap up by simply saying, when I heard this morning that you're created by God for God. God made no junk. He made all of us in his image. We are all amazing individuals. And if he made us, then he made us for him. And what we do here on earth, I think that, what Paul Meyer always said, he said everything, all the money he made, which was over $1 billion, was God's by right of creation. And his estate still gives today, long after he's been gone for over a decade. While he was here, he gave over $450 million to charitable causes and to his church. And that's what I am excited about. I am on the next leg of my life journey. I have turned a new leaf. I am in a new chapter. I am a new man. I am exploring how I was made in God's likeness. And frankly, I'm not here to preach. I am in no way a pastor. I am far from a biblical scholar. I have never read the entire Bible. But what I do know is that the person I am today, I feel like I'm a better man, a better husband, a better dad, a better friend, and I'm just going to keep on getting better. Because in life, you're getting ripe, you're getting rotten. And I want to continue to ripen. I want to continue to grow. I want to continue to, now that I have the permission from a pastor who made a lot of sense to me, I want to go out there and make many, many more tens of millions of dollars so that I can do amazing things. And that EROI, that eternal return on investment, that I'm not going to see just here on earth, but what I'm going to see in my afterlife, I'm excited to watch that investment come back like a residual cash flow into eternity. So, to all my friends out there who took the time to be on here with me and listen to me ramble, I hope that what I share with you, I hope that it made sense to you. I hope that maybe you see something that you can relate to and that you can hold on to, and that maybe will help you to uncover some things that maybe you were maybe consciously or unconsciously grappling with for many years like I was. So I hope that you go on with your life from today with God's favor. I hope that you are always looking in the mirror and seeing an amazing person, and you explore what God gifted you with, and get in your lane, because like he said, your lane has your passion, your purpose, your provision, your protection, and your pace. Love you guys. Have a great day.